Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one was sent in by King Ajizal, and he's actually against a guy called King Wizard, so I guess we have a regicide on our hands. So this should be interesting. So I'm going to have to be quick, because stuff is happening. So let's explain this straight away. We got the Heralds of the Wind here. On the opposition, along with the Illyrian Reaver Archers, and these two are quick, especially this unit. Look at that, 105 speed. Mangy Marauders that usually can outrun anything are on 92. So the Heralds of the Wind will be able to catch them out, which is why I think this is a very disastrous pick for King Ajizal, you know. It's going to be very tough to deal with that, especially with this Vanguard force. Luckily, though, he does the Death Creepers. They do have some poison, so he does have the tools to slow this stuff down a bit, but it will mean probably sacrificing one of his units, which is tough. So he's trying to get out of there, get to, you know, the safety of his own units. He's got Nasty Skulkers for the Smoke Bomb, which is very handy. If you can get Smoke Bomb on these guys, you can wipe them out pretty quickly. They're very flimsy. So also, he's got Black Orcs in the front line. He's got 3. Which is very devastating. That armor piercing's brilliant against anything, really. They're very, very sturdy. Use a wire on them. They're going to be chopping through Dragon Princes if the Dragon Princes stand still long enough. So they're very, very good. And, you know, Spearmen can't get through the armor. White Lions just aren't as good as Black Orcs. And what else? Swordmasters will put up a fight, sure. But, you know, with War and, you know, the Rusty Arrows and Orc Arrow Boys helping out, it's still tough. Also, we've got Wurzag here. Wurzag with the Bonewood Staff. Every time he casts a spell, everything's going to get an attack buff, which is really cool. Also, he's got Effigy to Git for stopping things completely. Might be useful to stop these guys, but usually you want to use them on more expensive targets. If you can deal with these guys with something cheap, then it's better. But, you know, it's tough. Also here, the Broken Tusk Mob. The Orc Ball Boy Biggins, they're a lot better than they used to be. And I really like these guys. I think they're pretty good. They're quite slow compared to a lot of other cavalry, but in tandem with things like the Nasty Skulkers, they can get a lot of work done. They've got a lot of mass, so it stops people from able to sort of get out of that fight very easily. So Broken Tusk Mob, very useful here. Also some Savage Orc Biggins, so just really good anti-large, really good weapon strength, very handy. And he's also got the 2 Night Goblin Regiments of Renown. So he's got the Warlord's Boys, and he's got the 8-Peak Loonies. And today it's actually telling me what they are, which is interesting. Sometimes in replays it just won't tell you the name of these guys. It's really strange. Anyway, and more Nasty Skulkers. Over here, Tyrion is charging in, so Black Orcs fighting Tyrion right now, but a quick charge from them and some Silver Helms, and they can get out pretty quickly. So the Black Orcs can take damage, and they're not going to retaliate very easily, which is why the Nasty Skulkers will need to move in. There's also more Dragon Princes. Actually, no, that's the only unit of Dragon Princes, isn't it? These are all Silver Helms. Yep. So there's some Dragon Princes and a Mage of Life, who's on a chariot, actually, so he can put a lot of work in. He can put a lot of work in, because generally you're going to see more Greenskins infantry than anything else. So being able to charge through that stuff with the anti-infantry of the chariot and the good mass, so you can just keep running through, it's going to make that mage very useful. So there's a lot of scary stuff going on. Also, there's a front line, which we'll get to, because it's not really going to do anything for quite some time. So speeding things up, you can see he's going straight for the Black Orcs. He is taking some damage from the archers, and the Nasty Skulkers are moving in. Nasty Skulkers moved in over here as well, but they didn't get the Smoke Bomb off. So the Silver Helms managed to pull out, and now that Sunfang has destroyed half the unit, which is very deadly. This is exactly what the High Elves need to do. They need to take out things like the Nasty Skulkers and the Archers so they can have control over the battlefield. So here you can see the Warlord's Boys had pushed forward way too much, and they are not good at taking a cavalry charge. So they're going to really suffer here. So there's a few bad engagements initially. And over here, they're being forced into a pretty rough engagement too. But Effigy to Git has been used on the Dragon Princes. The Broken Tusk Mob are stopping them from being able to move out this way, and these guys are moving in the other. And here, beautiful Foot of Gork. Really nicely positioned, so it barely hurts the Broken Tusk Mob, but it does a ton of damage to these Dragon Princes. A Flesh to Stone has been used on them to try and keep them in the fight, but everything in here is armor piercing. If you get a Smoke Bomb off as well, they're screwed. But no, again, the Smoke Bomb wasn't used, so they were able to escape. But they are getting chased off in the white lines right here, so they don't have to go far to get rid of these Dragon Princes. And you can see a Regrowth has been used on them, which is an expensive spell, so if they end up running off, that's a lot of Winds of Magic wasted, and that's his best cavalry dealt with. So that is a great win for King Ajizal there. So, this stuff, no, there's no point chasing them. He's never going to catch up to him, which is a real pity. Death Creepers there, Morgrun's Mange Marauders, they're trying to do what they can. But honestly, I think these guys need to shift over to this other side, help try and deal with some of these other units. So over here you can see another charge into the Nasty Skulkers. They are the biggest threat, so getting a nice little charge straight through them is vital. Absolutely vital. And now he's moving on to the Rusty Arrows, so that is a real problem. But Tyrion is a little bit stuck in here at the moment, so he's taking some pretty significant damage. But that's the Nasty Skulkers running away, and that is a problem. these Savage Orc Biggins, they're just chasing these Silver Helms. They need to pull back and try and help out these Rusty Arrows, which I think they do in a second. So some Archer Fire on the Silver Helms, it will help, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good for that back line. So, Black Orcs having taken quite a lot of damage from this fighting. And the Warlord's boys, Nasty Skulkers, things are looking a bit iffy on this flank. But of course the Lord is on this flank, so you kind of expect that. So, Broken Tusk Mob, they're moving back in. And over here, Brainbutt, nope, that was Awakening the Wood. So, nice little move by the Mage of Life there. Doing some good damage to the low armoured units, such as the Warlord's boys. So, that's pretty handy. So, everything is trying to chase, but it's a little bit tough. Wurzag is coming in, though. Wurzag is coming in. The Broken Tusk Mob are coming in with their anti-large and armor piercing. Definitely going to help against Tyrion. And so everything is going for Tyrion right now, which seems like it's a bit much. Seems a bit much, you know, to send everything in. But, here we go. There it is. Effigy to Git. So Tyrion's stuck now. Tyrion's stuck in this fight. So that's really, really bad for Tyrion. That's something you've really got to watch out for when Wurzag's on the table. You cannot leave your Lord in range of Wurzag. Here, Awakening the Wood, very good value there, hitting basically the entire Greenskin army. So really wants to kill Tyrion here. Smoke Bomb slowing down that mage, and it means the Nasty Skulkers will be able to get some damage in, but the Nasty Skulkers shouldn't be on their own here. They can't hold up against these charges. They need another unit to follow up and take advantage of the smoke bomb they've put down. Also, they will get extra attack buffs if they're winning a fight, but they're not going to win most fights on their own. They need someone else to be fighting with them, so that way they can go, brilliant, now we're winning, and they can do more damage. So they're great for support, but on their own, it can be tough. So you can see they got broken very quickly. Tyrion is now broken as well. He's using every ability he has, but now he's broken, he's a sitting duck. So he is taking a staggering amount of damage, down to 900 health. Not good for him. Not good for Tyrion. Anyway, over here you can see the Silverhelms. They've been given the runaround by the Death Creepers and the Morgrom's Major Marauders, so they're taking a huge amount of damage too, but the Greenskins have lost a lot of stuff here. They've lost a lot of utility. Nasty Skulkers very, almost wiped out and running away. These ones very injured, probably not going to last too much longer. There's only archers here helping out because everything is focusing on Tyrion, who's now dead. I think. Yeah, Tyrion's dead, so that's good. So some units did come in, try and bail him out, but it failed. It failed. Those Silverhelms have ended up running away. But this is tough. You know, sure, you want to go all in on Tyrion, but you've got to keep some units, out of there to try and back up other units. You can't have everything invested. When you've got that much mass, and then you've got the Broken Tusk Mob in there, Wurzag, there's enough to keep him pinned. You need to make sure that you're not leaving other units open to attack, because you're going to need those against the rest of the army. Unfortunately, over here, it looks like the Death Creepers and the Morgrom's Major Marauders have failed in this little fight, so they're getting chased off, which is a real pity, real pity. But this is still a very strong force of Orcs. All of these Black Orcs, there's not a huge amount that can really deal with them anymore. There are some Silverhelms that can get a good charge off. The Mage can do alright on that chariot, but he doesn't have a lot of armor piercing, but it is pretty good weapon strength. He does have the anti-infantry bonus, so that will help, but it's mainly going to be charges from different sides, which is why Nasty Skulkers are going to be pivotal in this. Also, Wurzag, because, FG to Git, but he's used both of those, so he won't have that anymore. But at least he's got some mass, he can, he's got pretty good weapon strength, he can react to some of the things that are going on. If a charge comes in, he can run into the same unit that's being charged to help. Same with the Broken Tusk Mob. So these two, he's going to have to keep very safe, and the Nasty Skulkers, of course, still need to be kept safe too. Rusty Arrows, they're going to be useful as well to lower the armor of all this stuff, so that way units like the Savage Orc Biggins can get more work done. So now, a lot of stuff starting to regroup, as you can see, and the front line hasn't been touched yet. That front line hasn't been touched, but they did just watch, Tyrion get murdered, so maybe that'll put them off a bit. But anyway, so very injured force, but very strong. Strong and injured, and weak and healthy is kind of what's going on right now, which is interesting. It's interesting. So yeah, I do like when a battle has sort of two parts. It does mean that I have to sort of waffle in the middle of it, but I do like it when the armies have to regroup and try again. I think it's really cool to see. You get these initial engagements and then people split off and try and get a little healing in, try and get themselves as ready as they can for the next engagement. And this is definitely an advantage that the High Elves have. They can, they can regroup and then heal. The Orcs, they need to remain in combat the entire time, because that's when they're doing the most work. You know, they need to be doing damage to the opponent, and they need to do it as quickly as possible, so the opponent can't make use of those other abilities, like heals and just getting more spells off, to be honest. You just want to get them killed as quickly as possible. Use that Wa, you know, things like that. You want to be able to wrap up your enemy fairly quickly. So this is definitely another disadvantage for the Greenskins. But Wurzag's been in a bit of fighting as well, you know, against Tyrion, so he's probably close to getting another Wa if he hasn't got it already. So that's going to be very nice in that initial exchange. But here, once again, 8p Loons have been caught out. These regiment-renowned Night Goblins, I mean any Night Goblin, you don't want them caught out on their own, because cavalry will be able to charge into them and do a lot of work. But this was a bit of a strange attack, so you can see a huge amount of Illyrian Reavers have got stuck on the unit here, and they're going to be taking a lot of damage, and the Black Orcs are getting very close. So this cavalry is definitely taking more damage than it should have done in an engagement like that. Over on this side, again, Goblins getting attacked, but he does have the Broken Tusk Mob in support here, along with Wurzag and some Black Orcs. But he needs to make sure he keeps his units quite close together. It'll be easier to protect his archers if his whole army is very close together, and yeah, it just helps. It just helps to be able to react. You've got a slower army, you want to be more tightly packed. Also, if you're more tightly packed, there's going to be just more things, more bodies, so it's going to be a lot harder to charge through things. So you've got to keep high and tight against this kind of force that's going to keep getting these little charges in. Here though, Smoke Bomb, and with the Broken Tusk Mob charging in as well, these Silver Helms are in a lot of trouble. And an awful lot of trouble. Unfortunately though, the Nasty Skulkers are wavering again because they were so injured, and they're going to have to be left alone because he needs to come in here and start sandwiching these units. So you can see the Rusty Arrows got charged, and so do these Orc Arrow boys, but most of the Heralds of the Wind have managed to escape this. They have managed to escape. Not so good for these Illyrian Reavers though, but some of the archers have taken quite a lot of damage, and it did save these Silver Helms. And since they didn't really lose many models, they were close to breaking, but they didn't really lose many men, they can get healed up again, which is going to be a problem. Again, it's very annoying. You know, you do some damage, but unless you wipe out the unit, it can be very difficult to finish it off eventually. So there you go, Illyrian Reaver archers getting dealt with, but the Broken Tusk Mobs are going to chase them off. They're going to chase them off the field, which is a good idea and a bad idea. You don't want them coming back, but also the Broken Tusk Mob are pretty slow, and you see they've got a long way to travel to chase them off before they come back. The War has been used, but all the archers caught out on their own, and huge blobs of infantry here fighting big blobs of infantry. Pretty interesting stuff. Here, another Brain Burster. That's going to give everyone another attack buff on top of the War. So 83 melee attack on the Savage Orc, the Savage Orc Biggins, which is astoundingly large. And with these guys having lost their martial prowess, they're going to get hit every time. Spearmen are not going to last in this. But the Pure Main Company do have some armor, so they will be alright against the Savage Orcs, but of course the Black Orcs are going to get a lot of work done. And here, we're about to see another spell. So, Pure Main Company, a bit of a tough one to crack, so stamp on them. That's right, just give them a good stamping. That's the way to do it. And, is that martial prowess gone yet? No, I think they still have it. Oh, now they lost it. Yeah, now I think it's lost. There we go. So that's martial prowess gone, now everything get more work done. And, yeah, any excuse to use a Foot of Gore, really, let's be honest. So, beautiful amount of work done here. But a lot of this Orc infantry is really starting to suffer in here. It really is. And over here, these Black Orcs are pretty much on their own, which means that all of this stuff can start bullying them. These archers did rally, but they're completely on their own, so they're going to get wiped out by the Heralds of the Wind pretty quickly. Pretty quickly indeed. I mean, great charge bonus on the Heralds of the Wind. I mean, nope, wait, where is it? Charge bonus, 40. 40 is not bad for light cav, so it's pretty nice to see. It'll be easily enough to get through a very low armoured unit like that. That extra 40 in the charge bonus will hurt. So, over here, more shenanigans, so get back here, keeping leadership nice and high, which is very important right now because leadership is actually looking pretty poor for the Greenskins, despite the fact Wurzag's right here, and they are winning in terms of the balance of power right now. So you'd think they'd want to stay in the fight, especially Black Orcs. I mean, it's mad to see that they're about to go, but they're very injured indeed. And they are kind of surrounded. So they've broken. These Black Orcs still going, but now they're fighting so many units. And the Mage, very wisely, is chasing down the fleeing units, so he doesn't have to risk taking much damage doing that. So over here, more cavalry charges in the back of these Black Orcs. Very painful for them. They're trying to pull out to retaliate, but I think just keep them on the spearmen. You just have to accept you're going to get charged in the rear, I think. Some units are starting to run away. But actually, now that you've kind of pulled out the fight that much, maybe just get the Black Orcs over here to back up the rest of these. Another war. That's right, another war. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, these Black Orcs are staying in. They're staying in. Brilliant. So they're staying with their 56 melee attack. Lovely. 8 peak loonies, they are still going, but there's only 4 of them left. Thank God they're unbreakable. Thank God. So they're helping, for sure. That poison will be very nice. It's going to help the rest of the guys stay alive against all the poisoned units. And here, Broken Tusk Mob are returning. Brilliant, which has been perfectly timed, because these fleeing units really need the support of something like the Broken Tusk Mob. So that meant that they couldn't get chased off the battlefield, because the Broken Tusk Mob were able to come in and scare all this stuff away that's far too injured to take a charge from something like this. So now, Savage Orc Biggins and the Black Orcs are going to pin down the Spearmen that have peeled off. But those Black Orcs run away as well, so it's actually just Wurzag versus the world over here. Over on this side, though, beautiful Brainburster. Beautiful. Doing a lot of damage to these light cav and these Spearmen. And it's kept the Black Orcs fighting. The Black Orcs suddenly winning this engagement, and they're a lot more comfortable. So they're just going to chop through a load of these cavalry, these light cav. And obviously the Spearmen aren't much of a match for them anyway. So Black Orcs suddenly in a lot better position there when it looked like they were going to get wiped out. Wurzag super injured though, but that chariot can't keep chasing him. You know, the best damage you can get out of this army now is from that chariot, but he couldn't keep chasing because he can't risk running into the Broken Tusk Mob. He just can't risk it. And now, these Spearmen, they're fighting far superior units. They've lost their martial prowess, so they're not going to be able to put up much of a fight. But another Earthblood means they're going to stay in the fight a lot longer. But this unit of Black Orcs, they've finished that engagement, and now they're able to join the fight. I mean, yeah, they're pretty hurt, but there's still 21 of them, and that's going to do a lot of work, especially against a very injured unit of Spearmen. So Wurzag has run in. He's giving everyone a leadership buff, which is definitely worthwhile, and with these Spearmen sandwiched, they're going to run pretty quickly, and Wurzag is able to intercept the Mage of Life, which means the Broken Tusk Mob can begin to follow up, and they are getting a couple of hits in the back of him. And he is wavering, he's very hurt, and he does not like getting attacked in the rear. Suddenly, he breaks and the balance of power shifts a huge amount. You can really see how much value that mage was giving to the army. And so the Spearmen finally wrapped up, and the Heralds of the Wind now are pretty much the only thing. Yeah, the only thing that hasn't routed. So at that point, army losses takes hold. And that is a Pyrrhic victory for King Ajizal. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So many of those points were looking so ropey. You know, the high elf player was really taking advantage of, you know, his mobility, of that cavalry, making sure to catch out a lot of very valuable units. You know, I think the Heralds of the Wind were a great pick just to stop shenanigans from things like the Morgoth's Magi Marauders and the Death Creepers, and then all of that attention on the archers to shut them down. Knowing that you don't have the armor on these units to really hold out, but they're still going to be useful at the charge. They're still going to be great for chasing things off. Excuse me. I think King Wizard did brilliantly here. I think this was great, but King Ajizal just managed to keep his army together long enough. It was so close. It was so close. But it is always an absolute nightmare getting through things like Black Orcs. And King Ajizal managed to catch out Tyrion so early. That was devastating. Losing Tyrion that fast, you know, before he can start assassinating things. I mean, yeah, he got 62 kills. And quite a bit of that would have been against Black Orcs, but a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it was just against, you know, random goblins and things that were in that engagement when he got caught out. And it's not really worthwhile. I mean, he got the Sunfang as well, so there's a lot of nasty Skulkers dead. But it's just not worth it. That was, yeah, he got caught out far too early. He would have been great. You know, him toe-to-toe against Wurzag, Wurzag wouldn't have stood a chance. But he needed to whittle down some of the units before he could do that. And without having a load of Spearmen and other units in there, pinning a lot of stuff down, it just meant that Tyrion was a goner. So, individual engagements, I think King Wizard did brilliantly. But the fact that he didn't put his whole army into the fight, that just completely screwed him over, I think. And yeah, King Ajizal just managed to keep it together. Absolutely beautiful. So, great fight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.